What's up, everyone? My name is Gator, or Airhead, depending on like where you know me from. But I've always wanted to do a video like this, and the best thing you could do is just do it. So why not? I just want to like talk about stuff I have my mind on. I have gameplay in the background, a full run of Peak, yeah, or kind of full run of Peak. I started recording like during the jungle part. I've always wanted to do content creation to an extent. I've been making videos for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time, and it's never really taken off. And I don't know why I've been so attracted to the idea of content creation. I just like the whole concept of it. I think it's just something to do. It's something to do, and I'm able to look back on it. I'm able to rewatch it. I'm able to see how I can improve it. It's something that I can do that proves to me that I'm me, and I can look back on it and keep watching me. And I don't want to sound like obsessed with myself, but I like watching myself succeed because I'm me. And I've started consistently making content. I started uploading reels, a lot of reels. At the start of it, I was pumping out like 5 reels a day, and this was like 30 days ago. One of them took off. It was like a grow a garden video, and I was like, this grow a garden game is addicting, because it is. And it got like 30K on Instagram, and my friend Sam, who's my producer, he was like, yo, you should upload these on TikTok, it's the move. I uploaded it on TikTok, and all of a sudden the video has like 200K views, or 200K likes when I wake up, and I'm like, whoa. And some of these other videos have been doing good. Just like, I think consistently uploading over and over and over and over again has really benefited my career. Another reason why I want to be so online is because end goal is music. I've always wanted to be famous. I've always wanted to make music long before it, like the whole thing about being a musician blew up. Because I'm not gonna lie, the idea of being a musician has taken off, to say the least. Everyone's grinding FL Studio and making hyperpop songs now. But I've always wanted to be a musician. So I think being online and having that presence will benefit my career because, more people know me, more people know my music. It's hand in hand. But and it's fun. Yeah, I've been grinding. It's just difficult making content. It's difficult putting my face out there knowing that everyone has their eyes on me. People I know are judging me based on what I'm saying. I also feel like I'm losing a bit of my humanity, if that makes sense, by putting my face out there. The idea of putting content out there in general is just cringe. Not to say cringe, but like it's cringe. It's like, all right, what are you doing that for? It's like, are you seeking attention? Yeah, I am, but it's for a deeper cause. It's for a deeper cause. Another thing I want to talk about is the Ludwig situation. There was a situation that happened recently with Ludwig and Mango. I don't know the full story of it. I'm not educated. I don't know them personally. I'm just me, which is like the main thing I want to talk about, right? Because Ludwig's a big streamer, all right? Ludwig's just a huge internet personality. If you don't know Ludwig, I would go check out his old videos. He had this Pokemon video, really entertaining. He's really good at making content. He's mastered it. I would say he's mastered making content. One of the kindest faces in the Twitch community. He does all these projects, bringing people together. Super charitable guy. And recently, he threw this Mario Kart Bash thing. There's this guy named Mango. If you're not big into esports, you probably don't know who the hell that is. But he's one of the best Smash players of all time. Hands down. He is an alcoholic, and at this party there was a lot of alcohol, and he drank a bit. He got a little touchy with some women, because alcohol does that. I think alcohol is one of the worst things ever. It actively makes you more stupid. And he drank. He's an alcoholic. He can't really control himself whenever he's on alcohol because, alcohol is not you, right? You can't judge someone while they're drunk, because being drunk just multiplies your stupidity by like tenfold. Got drunk, got touchy with some people. Next day, everyone's like, yeah, this was so weird. It's a party, right? Average Joe does that who's not Mango. He gets away with it. People are like, oh, you're odd. But the fact that everyone had their eyes on Mango, you know, it ruined his career. He got kicked out of Cloud9, which is the org he was a part of, for just doing dumb stuff when he was drunk. And everyone's getting mad at Ludwig because he enabled it. He was like, more alcohol, feed him more alcohol. And, you know, it's a party. You know, it is outrageous to say, but, like, in the heat of the moment when you're drunk, trying to get other people drunk, it happens. It happens. And Mango got drunk. Ludwig was drunk. Ludwig was enabling Mango. And then Mango did all this stupid stuff, and now everyone's mad at Ludwig for assisting Mango getting drunk. But it's like, if you're just a party animal, that's normal stuff, right? It's normal. It's so normal. And I hate to say that it's normal, because it shouldn't be, but it is. And people gotta realize that. And it's the only fact that Ludwig and Mango are getting in not even this much trouble, but it's like, they're just getting in trouble because they have people watching them all the time. You know? People need to realize that behind the internet personalities, these guys are human, you know? And it's just disappointing to see all these people care so much about a life that's not theirs. A life that has nothing to do with them. At least once in everyone's life, someone makes you make a really big mistake that you are ashamed of. And that's normal. That's human. If you're not making big mistakes, I don't think you're a human being. You're like an alien creature. And I think the public's perception of celebrities is disgusting. Everyone's going to make a mistake. Just because they're famous, you don't need to look at them like they're the devil incarnate because they made a stupid mistake, right? Call Me Carson, boom. Quote unquote groomed a kid. He was like 18, he was 19, she was 17, something like that. It was a power play. He used his platform to get leverage on this younger girl. Blah blah blah. More stuff happened. Really dark time in Carson's life. You know. And I'm not gonna sit here and like be like, yeah, you know, good on him for doing that. I'm not like that's not what I'm trying to say. He did something stupid, right? As people do, as humans do. He did something stupid. Given time, years after this event, he's grown from it. I see videos of him on Reels pop up, and then I go into the comments and he's like, didn't you groom a minor? Yeah, you know, he did that. But you could also see that he's grown from it, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm defending it, but I am gonna sit here and defend the fact that people can grow from their mistakes. And I have a feeling that a large majority of the internet can't grasp that. Can't grasp that people can grow from their own mistakes. And I have another feeling, that everyone who is doing all this stuff has made their own mistake. I've made my own mistake. I've made plenty of mistakes. Big ones. Right? I'm not going to sit here and deny the fact that I've grown from it. Because that would be stupid. Right? People need to start being a lot more understanding of situations that have nothing to do with them. And I think Ludwig's situation is a prime example of that. The only reason they're getting in like scrutiny is because they're famous. It's dumb. It's completely disgusting. And I think people need to let go of lives that aren't theirs. Like, enjoy the content, you know? Watch the videos. Laugh at them. Be happy watching them, right? Call Me Carson makes funny videos. I still laugh at them knowing he did that, right? Let's say your best friend did some stuff like that. Would you cut them off or would you help them? I forgot the saying for it, but it's like, yeah, fair weather friend. Everyone's a fair weather friend on the internet. Everyone loves this guy until he messes up. And now all of a sudden he's the devil. I hate that. I hate that people do that. And it shows me your character when I see people doing stuff like that. And I think it's just gross. What is a labubu? I've been seeing all this Labubu nonsense. And from what I've gathered, it's like little things. You open up a box, and it's like you get a mystery Labubu. And apparently they're super popular now. They're super popular. Everyone has a Labubu. Well, I don't know why they're blowing up. What's the deal? What's going on? People just be like, everyone's like, I need a Labubu. I need to drink matcha and have my Labubu chain attached to my blue jeans, my baggy blue jeans and my Stussy t-shirt while I listen to Keshi and play Valorant. And I'm going to go home and play more Valorant. I'm going to go out and go to the local internet cafe and, you know, play Valorant and read feminist literature and listen to Claro. What is the deal with the Labubu? I think they're expensive too, which is nuts. It's just like a little dude with bunny ears and they're smiling. It's dumb. Labubus are stupid. I want a Labubu. I want a Labubu because they're so stupid, and that's the problem. I think that's why everyone has them, because it's like they're just becoming so popular. And I think it's like you see someone with a Labubu, you're like, ooh, they're in the Labubu club. Labubu Geek Bar. Labubu Valorant. Moonbeam Ice Cream Labubu Matcha. I'm so tired of this. There's going to be a video in the background. I recorded some gameplay of a game called Peak. That game's fun. And I think it's pioneering. Alright, I would not say pioneering. I think personally, Among Us is the game that pioneered this genre. And I call it Friend Slop. Where it's not a complex game, but it's a game with simple graphics and a simple end goal. They add voice chat, they just release it. And in the end, all the games are simple. I think one of the better examples of this is Lethal Company. Simple graphics, really fun game. I played a lot of Lethal Company. Drop down on this planet, go into this building, get a bunch of stuff, bring it back to the ship, make money, and just keep doing that. And when you have other people with you, it's so fun. It's so fun. But, like, you get bored of it eventually, move on to the next game. Get bored of that game, move on to the next one. Lethal Company. So fun! Alright, let's hop on Repo. So fun! Oh, now it's a little boring. Let's hop on Peak. So fun! You know, I've beaten the game like 20 times. Let's go to the next game. And I feel like it's like an infinite loop of Friend Slop, you know? Just you and four other guys, or girls, go into the game, play it. I don't even know. I think it's a really cool genre, but it's slop. You're putting out slop. And I get there's emotion being put into these games, but it's like it doesn't feel like there's enough emotion being put into these games. That's crazy. I don't know if you can hear that. College. The idea of college has just slipped away from me. I'm a student, right? 4.0 GPA. I'm going to school for communications and music industry practices. And I'm liking school. School's fun. You know, it gives me something to do, and it feels rewarding. And I know it's going to benefit my future. But the more that time goes on, I'm starting to realize that maybe college isn't as important as I think it is. Securing an internship, training in the exact field that you want to go into, I feel like it's a lot more important when it comes to the eyes of an employer. Because I know for a fact that if I was going to employ someone, I'd rather employ the guy who has been training in my field for the past 3 years than the guy who went to school, got a bachelor's that kind of has to do with my field. You know what I'm saying? I hate AI. I think AI kills creativity. And some people use AI as an excuse, not an excuse, but as a tool to visualize their creativity. And I think that destroys everything. I think AI destroys everything. But the rise of AI is a good tool. As much as I hate it, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not a good tool. It's a really good tool. It could write a complete essay in 10 seconds. 600-page essay with cites, in 10 seconds. That's nuts, by the way. That's crazy. And I think AI is destroying college, right? Because why spend all this time writing an essay when I could just have a little robot do it for me? And then I take it into Word, I tweak it so it sounds like me, takes like an hour, and then I'm done for the week. That's stupid. I think AI is destroying college. And then, so it, like, with all that stuff combined, like getting training, having AI do all the work for me, it's starting to look like college isn't important. I could spend my time job hunting, secure an internship, work in that internship, get the job, and not need to go to school. I think school is not important right now. And it hurts to say that because, I grew up in the prime time of being like, yeah, college is the most important thing. End goal, go to college, get a degree, go to work. But now all these tools are coming out that, like, nullify that make it insignificant. Thank you guys for watching. If you watched all the way through, if you did, that means a lot more to me than you think. Subscribe. Go listen to my album. I just dropped an album recently. And leave a like on the video. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day. Hello, everyone. It's Gator, or Airhead, depending on where you know me from. I decided to call this series Gagatalk, because, if you know me, nickname Gaga, I like putting Gaga in front of a lot of things. I don't know why, it's strange. I'm recording this episode right after my last one because I'm on that talking hot streak. It gets very tiring talking, and I'm in the mood where it's not tiring to talk, so I might as well take advantage of it. There's some things I want to talk about on this episode. Hating on someone for liking something, and I get that it's really easy to do that. And it's really fun to do that. But, like, have you ever thought that maybe if you try that thing that you're hating on, you might like it? And I think that's where the hate comes from. I kind of think that's where the hate comes from. It's a fear of liking something that looks embarrassing to like. I think the prime example of that is being a furry. I'm not no furry. My one of my friends is, and they're one of the happiest people I know. They're content with their hobby. They're happy with their life, and I think that's important. And I used to hate on furries big time, right? I was just mean to them, and I hated. Looking back on that disgusts me. But, maybe if I try out being a furry, I'd like it. And I think that goes hand in hand for everything. I think the prime example of that is anime. I made a video on TikTok about the switch up on anime and how people went from, like, hating on it. Because I used to get bullied for liking anime. I'm not gonna lie. I used to get bullied. Dude. I was treated like the scum of the earth for liking anime. And now everyone likes anime. Now everyone likes it. Now everyone's watching Demon Slayer. Everyone's watching One Piece. Where was that support when I was a kid? That low-key affected me, and I think that the switch up on anime was important. I'm glad a lot more people are watching anime. Anime is something everyone should experience. There's some anime I should put y'all on. Intervene. Top 3 anime to expand your horizons whenever it comes to watching anime, alright? Monogatari series, Nichijou, Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. But watch the movie after watching Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, because that's one of my favorite movies ever. Watch those 3. I'm putting you on. I could make a separate episode talking about each of those for like an hour. But anyways, back on hating someone for what they like. I used to get bullied for the clothes I wore. I was one of those kids that wore neon, and looking back on it, I would bully me too. I would still bully me too. Kids that wear neon, they deserve to get a swirly. They deserve a swirly. They deserve a wedgie, a swirly, and their lunch money taken. I think bullying those kids is important because I think I have a relatively good fashion sense now. And it low-key affected me mentally because after getting bullied for my clothes so much, I ended up spending a lot of money on fashion. I would be content wearing like Adidas track pants and a white t-shirt for the rest of my life. But no, since I got bullied, I'm wearing like Stussy baggy $300 jeans, diesel belts, Kid Super button-ups, and diesel watches while wearing Sambas. just to go out on the town for like an hour and come back home and sit in my room and play Valorant and CS all day. But it's like, I think some bullying is important. I think hating on some people for what they like is important, but also I think that, it doesn't need to be so aggressive. It didn't need to affect me as much as it did. I mean, I can't, I'm not going to go into my life and be like, oh, I had such a rough childhood because I got bullied so much. It wasn't bad, right? But it was like, I was a kid. Teasing got to me, dude. Teasing got to me. I got rage baited. I'll say it. I got rage baited. I fell for the your outfit sucks rage bait. And I took it to heart, so now my outfits don't suck. Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is one of those games that I could play forever. However, the skill ceiling is just so high. I've been playing for about 6 years now. I have 2,000 hours on the game. I still don't know the recoil patterns. The only gun I could say confidently I have the recoil pattern mastered for is the M4A1S, dude. And that gun is the easiest gun to learn the recoil pattern for because it's just an L. A backwards L. But, dude, that game is hard. That's a hard game. Because I play... Dude, what is up with all these loud cars driving past my house? I don't care. I play that, I hop on Valorant, and all of a sudden Valorant's like the easiest game ever. I feel like any Valorant pro who isn't trying to rage bait people would confidently say CS is a harder game than Valorant. I'll say it. CS is also a better game than Valorant. The Valorant community, as deplorable as they are, is better though. I'll say that. Valorant has a better community than the CS. CS's anti-cheat has to be fixed. It's one of the worst things ever. Face it, a third party platform, that's a hard sentence to say, a third party platform has better anti-cheat than the base game that Valve is making. And let me go on a little tangent here. Valve has to have the biggest fall off in gaming. They used to care so much about every single game they put out. Nowadays, the community is making all the skins. The community is making the maps. The community, the community does all the work for Valve, dude. And Valve is making so much money off of it. So much money off of it for no reason. And it's so unfortunate. Alright. Just do me one favor, Valve. Bring Lake back. I want Lake back in the game. Lake has to be top 3 maps in any game. I'll say it. Top 3 maps in any game. I don't know the other 2. No other map comes to mind. Whenever someone's like, good map design, I instantly think of Lake. That's such a fair map. I don't know. I think doing activities in high school is important. This is from a guy who did literally every single activity in high school. And I try and let my memories of high school go because I low-key hated high school. But, I think doing everything really benefited me. And this is a message from me to someone who doesn't really want to be involved in their high school. Just go do it. Go do it. I never thought I would be good at track. Not once in my life did I ever think I'd be good at track. Give it 3 years, I'm jumping 6'5", and I'm the state champion, like 6-time regional champion, 10-time district champion. I'm wiping kids in events that aren't even my main event, I didn't think I would be good at it. I did it, and now I was good at it. I got offers from like 3 D1 schools, 5 D2 schools. Like I was doing good. And that's not even the only activity. I did the academic team. I was part of jazz ensemble. I was a part of like pep band, competition theater, musical theater, like just all these different clubs. I just signed up for every club. I did winter guard. I balanced such a crazy schedule. I was leaving my house at 5 a.m. and I was getting home at like 11 p.m. every day, sometimes 1 a.m. And I would keep doing that. And, it was so much better than going home and hopping on the game. And I'm not going to lie, doing all that stuff tanked my GPA, but in the end, Some of my best memories ever are from those activities. Like I still hate musical theater. I still hate musical theater. I never really enjoyed that in the moment. But like looking back on it, doing theater, some of my happiest memories are doing theater. Looking back on it, I really enjoyed Chicago. I really enjoyed Rock of Ages. That was so fun, but like on the low. I hated every second of it, but like, those small moments backstage talking to my friends, the little inside jokes we had, opening night, closing night, it would like those are memories I can't let go of, and I like, it was worth it. Doing everything was worth it. So if you're ever in the situation where you're like, I don't really want to do this, I'd rather spend my time at home. That's sad, man. That's really sad. Go and do it. Go and join a club. Join SCA. Get involved with your school, because you're never gonna regret it. You're never gonna regret it. You might have some bad memories, but looking back on it, there was so many worse ways to spend your time than being in that club. And I think being a part of those activities keeps you out of those. And I think that's important. If you're in high school, go do that club. Join that club. Join that sport. I was on the football team. I sucked at football. I was the punter. I punted a total of 2 times, and then I was put on bench. I quit. But, I tried it. It was fun being on that team, low key. It was fun being on that team for like the short period of time that I was on it. But, I eventually quit. Not only because I was being put on bench, and I hated being put on bench. My ideology was I'm not going to go to that team, practice with that team in the blazing Virginia heat for 3 hours a day just to have a game come around and me not playing it. And that was my senior year too. So I was like, yeah. And I was infinitely better at track at that time anyways. Like I was kicking butt. Made it to nationals both times. It was cool. It was cool. The state of the music industry is so weird, but it's also so promising. Because I mentioned this a little bit in the last episode, and it's like every single person wants to make music now. And about 50% of it is so bad, but then all of a sudden, this other 50%, I stumble across this artist with like 20 monthly listeners, and they're making Kendrick Lamar level music. It's like, what the hell? Why is this guy not famous? And then I stumble across some guy with like 1 million monthly listeners that I've never heard of, and he's making terrible music. What's the dealio? There's some artists I've had my eyes on. There's this girl named Lexa Gates. She makes, I'm not going to say Mac Miller-esque music, but it's Mac Miller-esque music. She's a very talented rapper. Her beats are always so fun to listen to. Favorite song of hers is Stacy's Chips. If you ever go listen to Lexa Gates, listen to Stacy's Chips. Another artist I have my eyes on is Young Fazo. He dropped this song called All in Motion. I think that's what it was called. That song is addicting. There was a point in my life, I'll admit, I would hop in my car, I would go really fast listening to that song during nighttime. And it was just that was such a good time period. Every night I would end my night with a really fast drive listening to Young Fazo's All in Motion. That guy has some promise. Lexa Gates, Young Fazo. I'm putting y'all on. Y'all need to tap in. For real. For real. Yeah, that's all I really want to talk about. This is going to be a shorter episode. I plan on releasing it every Sunday, but, personally, this is just like a little journal to get stuff off my mind. Cheers to an episode 2. I really hope y'all are enjoying this series. Since dropping my last episode, my album has gotten 50 streams. I don't know if that's from the episode, but the fact that it happened so shortly after, it's cool. It's cool. So thank you all for the support. I hope you all have a good day. Follow me, subscribe, like the video, share it, listen to my album. Bye-bye, y'all. Hey everyone, it's Gator, or Airhead, depending on where you know me from, and this is episode 3 of Gagatalk. Let's just jump straight into it today. The struggle of making friends nowadays. Because back when we were kids, back when I was a kid, it was as simple as like, I like trains, you like trains, we can get along. Now it's, I like trains and Joe Biden, and maybe we don't get along. It's so hard to make friends solely because of that. Everyone's old. Everyone's getting old, and everyone's able to formulate their own thoughts and formulate their own opinions, and it's just getting so difficult to find people that think like you, that appreciate what you appreciate without hating you. And I feel like, yeah, deep down, I can get along with anyone as long as you give me a reason to get along with you. I don't care if you like Donald Trump. I don't care if you like Joe Biden. If you're an intelligent person who isn't using me, I don't mind. I don't mind. I think that was a strong hook to get y'all interested in this episode. PC is so much better than console. And I'm tired of people hanging on to the idea that console's better. Because I do still come across people who are like, yeah, console's just so much better. No, it's not. Who's lying to your face? And if your whole thing is you can't use a controller, you can. You can use a controller if you get a PC. So it ain't even that deep. Just hook it up. I'm pretty sure 90% of controllers nowadays have PC compatibility. And I'm pretty sure all the PS exclusives are on PC. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably very wrong. But I feel like all of the PS exclusives are on PC. If you come to me and if you're not thinking about buying a PC by next year, you gotta lock in. PCs are important. Not only can they be used for games, they can be used for so much more, which is just what makes them so much better too. They're multifunctional, and it's really good at being multifunctional. If you are leaving me undelivered, why the hell are you following me, right? Because I'm not trying to send a messenger pigeon and get your response a month after I send my message. I want you to respond to me like I'm talking to you face to face. And I get if you're a busy person, right? I get if you're going to work, you can't have your phone at work. I get if you're in school, you're trying to focus. I get if you just don't use your phone. But if I see you posting on your story and liking reels and stuff, and I'm undelivered, that's BM, bro. That's BM. You gotta unfollow me. You gotta unfollow me. And while we're at that, if you're gonna unfollow me, you gotta remove me as a follower, dude. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of social media. You gotta remove me as a follower. It makes me mad whenever someone unfollows me and doesn't remove me as a follower, because clearly you don't mess with me. Why should I mess with you? That's stupid. Block me. Don't unfollow me, block me. At that point, why are you keeping me around? Clearly you don't want to be in my life. Why should I be in yours? I'm seeing you flick up with other people and post on your story. The least you could do is react. You know what I'm saying? The least you could do is react. There's this anime coming out called City the Animation. And it's by author Keiichi Arawaki. Hold on, let me go get the book real quick. Keiichi Arawi. I have no clue if I'm saying that right. But they made the series Nichijou. And for those who don't know, Nichijou is probably one of the funniest pieces of media I have ever gotten my hands on. The manga is funny. I've never laughed at a book until I read Nichijou. The anime, classic. So many classic scenes. There's the scene where the principal's fighting a deer, and it does a pile driver on the deer, and it's going crazy. And then there's the scene where the little girl tries to pet the dog or the cat, I forget, it's one of them, and the dog and or cat bites her hand, and she screams and a laser comes out. But it's they're just living a normal life. They're in high school doing high school stuff, but it's hyperbole, and it's so funny. But the creator of that show is making, or they already made, I've read the manga, it's really good. They've made this series called City, the Animation, and it's coming out, and so many people need to watch that. That needs to be the next big thing. People need to watch City, the Animation. And you're hearing it here first from Gagatalk. If you haven't heard of it already, City, the Animation will most likely be the next big thing. The art style, classic. The animation, beautiful. It's so beautiful. For a slice of life to be doing stuff like that, oh my gosh. The attention to detail in every shot is so cool. The jokes are on point. Everything about it is perfect. It's perfect, and the fact that it's coming from Keiichi Arawi makes it so much better. It's gonna be the next big thing, and you need to trust Gaga. You need to trust Airhead. You need to trust Gator. City the animation. Even if you don't watch anime, watch it. Try it out. You'll laugh at it. Pokemon trading card game. That I made a video about that too. I made a video about pretty much everything I was talking about, besides City the animation on Instagram or TikTok. But the Pokemon fall off is like nuts. I love Pokemon, right? I gave all my cards to my little brother because, you know, he's going to appreciate it a whole lot more than I will. My dad's in charge of them, so he's not going to sell all my crazy vintage cards. But, you know, I like, you know, Pokemon. The fun of Pokemon cards is giving it. Like showing, trading, you know, being in the community. And it got to the point where so many people were just buying it the second it got on the shelves because they were just so greedy and so selfish that it just became not fun to be collecting it anymore. I'm not trying to spend $200 on a base ETB. Not even a Pokemon Center ETB, a base ETB. So I could have some cards from the new collection. I'm not even guaranteed to get the one I want. You know? And people are just so greedy. It got to the point where all the greedy people ruined it for everyone else. And Pokemon Company is struggling to catch up with stocking the shelves. You know? It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. Seeing people do stuff like that, like, come on, man. It's a kid's game. And we got grown men out here shoving people in the middle of a Costco so they could get their hands on the next full art Pikachu card. You know? It's like, bro, like, what? It's gross. It's gross. I think it's gross. Up there with Fairweather Friends. The people who are attacking people over Pokemon cards, you're really gross. Grow a Garden's getting boring. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been boring. Alright, let me defend Grow a Garden and then let me tear down my defense real quick. Grow a Garden was chill, right? And alright, first off, I'm gonna just knock down everyone who's like, if you want to grow a garden in real life. You know how expensive that is? First off, you gotta have a garden, right? Then you gotta get all the seeds and all the equipment. Getting a garden in real life is just like obnoxious. I used to garden. I was a big florist. I loved flowers. Horticulture was beautiful. I almost went to school for horticulture until I got rejected from the private school. That's a story for another time. That was crazy. I like flowers. I wanted to grow a garden. I have grown a garden, right? Grow a garden is not like growing a garden. So anyone who says, just grow a garden in real life, you're pissing me off. Your rage bait is working. Yeah, it's a chill game. You just hop into voice chat with your homies and just wait. You just sit around and wait. You could watch, like what I did, I wasn't even playing the game half the time. I would just have it up and then have anime on my monitor, on my other monitor, and just relax. It's like a tycoon. You're not always playing the tycoon, you're just watching the number go up. It's like Cookie Clicker. There you go. It's like Cookie Clicker. You're watching the number grow up, except it's like a 3D Cookie Clicker where you can actually like go and change around your different like sources of income. And that's so cool. It's fun. It's chill. I think it's falling into the Fortnite effect where they're just doing too much. You know, they're adding an event every single week and it's like, bro, I just want to grow a garden. It's hard to catch up. And they also added like gambling. That was stupid. That you had to get like seed packs that you could buy and then like spin for the seed. They need to make it easier. I'm not even going to get into it. Grow a Garden's boring now. I'll say it. I used to be a big Grow a Garden supporter. Now I'm not. Now I'm a certified Grow a Garden hater. Yeah, today's going to be a short episode. I don't really have much to talk about. I already got out everything I had to say within a short period of time. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Subscribe, follow, listen to my album. Y'all have a good day. Peace out. Love you guys.
What's up, everyone? It's Gator and or Airhead, depending on where you know me from, and this is episode 4 of Gagatalk. I just got back from Epic Universe, the new thing at Universal, and it was really cool. I'll get that out of the way. It was so cool. I think that might have been the best amusement park I've ever been to. Just aesthetic-wise, not like experience-wise. Because I'm gonna get to the experience. The lines at that park had lines, bro. The lines had lines. I was standing in line to go to a restaurant. Every restaurant had a line. That's nuts. It was just this random Tuesday I went to the park. Just a random Tuesday. It was summer, so that makes sense. Obviously, there's going to be people off doing summer break stuff, but it was just a random Tuesday. So, I felt like it shouldn't be that packed. It was that packed. There was the Harry Potter place, the newer Harry Potter place, and there was this ride, and it was like, I think it was Dolores Umbridge, like her trial, and like she escapes, and that was the ride. I forgot what it was called because I was just so out of it. It started raining. It's Florida. It happens. It started raining, and that was one of the few rides that were actually inside. So everyone flocked to that ride. But we got there early, so, it made sense. Holy crap. I stood in that line for 3.5 hours. That's like 15% of my day, I think. Maybe less. Wait, no, that makes sense, I think. 15% of my day was spent in that line. Oh my gosh. When I tell you, I was in that line, and there was a portion where it hooks around to the left, and you go outside, and it's like this maze, and I was like, oh, we get to the end of that line, and I'm like, oh, we're almost done. The lady is like, all right, come through here. And you walk through, like, the fireplace thing that they use to, like, teleport, and then you enter a significantly bigger room, and it's just more line. It was just more line. And then you get to the end of that room, and guess what? It's more line. They had me doing some bullshit. And then there was a part where you get into the smaller room where it's more line. You go out, more line, obviously, because it's Universal. And there's a part where you go up a staircase. You go up a staircase, and you're like, okay, it has the flat out here. You get to the top of the staircase. 5 feet after the staircase ended, it starts another one going down. I'm letting you know right now, that was 2 hours. 2 hours had passed, and I was there. That was like Pam's Labyrinth. That line was like Pam's Labyrinth. I was losing my marbles. I was actually going insane in that line. It was outrageous how much lineage there was. And, that's on me for not buying the $100 skip the line bundle. But I think that's all right. If you are going to go to Epic Universe, the extra $100 is worth it. Right? Because I spent $200 on that ticket to go on like 5 rides. Because every single ride had like a 3-hour long wait time. It was nuts. And the stupid part is at the end of it all, the ride was kind of mid. I hate to say it. The concept was sick, right? You go along this storyline. Dolores Umbridge, who's like the main bad guy of those Harry Potter movies, she like escapes. And she's like releasing the death people. I don't care about Harry Potter, if you couldn't tell. She's releasing the death people all about the courtroom, and you gotta like fight back, and she like messes with time and stuff. It's cool. It's a cool ride. But, standing in line for 3.5 hours for that, come on, man. That wasn't worth it. And then, right after that, it was like 8 when we got off that line. We got in that line at like 4:30. It was 8 when we got off the ride. And we were like, okay, realistically, they wouldn't kick us out of the park if we got in another line. So we ended up going to the Stardust, I don't even care. The Stardust Crusader. I think it's called, it's like the Stardust something. Line for that was like 40 minutes long. A fraction of the time of that Harry Potter ride. And oh my god, that ride was so cool. That was such a sick roller coaster. So the way that one worked, the Stardust one, is it was 2 separate roller coasters going at the same time. And you would like cross over each other, and it was so cool. And it was at nighttime, and it was the one roller coaster that actually like glowed. So I got to ride that at nighttime and see the whole park at night. It was so cool. 40-minute wait time for a significantly better ride. If you do go to Epic Universe, I really suggest you go on the Stardust coaster. That's the best ride at the park by a landslide. The nighttime at that park is so cool. It's so cool at night. But like the main problem is you get there nighttime they have all these cool lights. It's summertime, so the night's not the night happens later in the day, and it's so cool at night. But the park closes at 9, so I can't even enjoy the nighttime stuff. It was just like what. And they had, all right, if you are going there in the summertime, towards the end of the park, or towards the end of the time when the park is like actually closing down, go to like the big fountain in the middle, because they do this cool water show. That was sick. That was really cool. Nintendo Land was sick. I was sick the day I went to the park, by the way. So I spent most of it on the toilet, and that's on me. All right, that's on me. I should not have gotten sick. My fault. My fault. But spent most of it on the toilet. The Nintendo Land was probably my most enjoyable part of that. I'm a big gamer. I love games. Being able to walk around Mushroom Kingdom and just be in that environment, that was sick. That was really cool. The How to Train Your Dragon place was sick. The second best ride is the How to Train Your Dragon ride. I really enjoyed that. The part where you go over the water was really cool. They know how to make a fun roller coaster at Universal, I'll say that. Except the Harry Potter one. No reason you should be waiting 3 hours and 30 minutes to sit on that Harry Potter ride. Unless you're like a die-hard Harry Potter fan. Alright, I need to stop talking about that ride. That made me mad. Harry Potter ride bad. Don't wait 3 hours for it. Moral of the story. Mario Kart. I stood in the line for the Mario Kart thing. I had to use the bathroom. I didn't even get to go on the Mario Kart ride. But the people I did go with, their screen shut down on the Mario Kart ride, so you couldn't even enjoy it. So they couldn't even enjoy it. And I have a feeling it was not supposed to shut down, obviously. But, it ruined his trip for sure, because they stood in line for 2 hours just to have their screen shut down on the Mario Kart ride, which is unfortunate. The Donkey Kong ride, I didn't get to go on it, but I spent a lot of time in the Donkey Kong area because I love Donkey Kong. Cool ride. How many times am I going to say ride this episode? If you guys feel like counting it, put it in the comment section. That's nuts I said that. The Celestial Park, the main part of it was cool. The Monster part, the Monster ride, I suggest you go on that if you do go. The way it's set up is it's constantly filtering in people, so the line is constantly moving, right? And it was a fun ride. It was a fun little thing. I think it's like called a dark ride, like the Pokemon. No, dark ride, where it's like not a roller coaster, but it's like you're sitting on a thing and it's like spinning you around. I really enjoyed it. It followed the storyline of like Frankenstein fighting Dracula. That was sick. Unironically, the big carousel in the middle of the park was more enjoyable than most of the park. I enjoyed sitting on that carousel. It was like a 20-minute wait, and the carousel's just spinning around. It was chill. I felt childlike. The food, I'll say this. I went to that park thinking that I was going to be dropping minimum $40 on a meal. Nah, it was like $18 for a relatively large meal and a drink. The drinks were outrageous. $6 for a bottle of water, you're tweaking. But, the food was actually good. I went to this random little stand towards the Burke part, and it was like taco, whatever. It was like hot dogs on a stick, chopped up, and it was wrapped in like a rice roll that was fried. It had a sauce on it, and it had like teriyaki sauce on it with like scallions on it. It was so good. It was like $11 for just that. The drink cost about the same as the food, so take that how you will. But it was a good meal for a relatively cheap price for Universal. So yeah, food not bad. I also went to like the cafe in the Harry Potter part. That was good. I had a sandwich. It had like apples and turkey on it, and then I also had pumpkin water. Not that sounds nasty. Pumpkin juice. Pumpkin juice also sounds nasty. I assure you, it was not. It was relatively refreshing. So, yeah. Another thing that was good was the butterbeer. I never had butterbeer until then. I went to Universal once before that as a kid. Never got to try butterbeer. The butterbeer there was worth it. I enjoyed the butterbeer. I'll say it. I'm a butterbeer sheep. The merch was cool. It was a cool experience. It was a cool experience. Making music, you meet a lot of really cool and talented people. and they don't get enough recognition, in my opinion. So let me put you on. Let me put you on to some of my friends. Let me sit up. The first name that comes to my mind is Kara. Kara Franchisi. Okay, Kara, if you're watching this episode, I love you to bits. You are like one of my favorite people ever. I still don't know how to say your last name. Kara Franchisi? I'm gonna say Franchisi. Frances. Kara. Oh my god. Talented. The production, off the charts. Her vision, beautiful. Her songs, beautiful. She dropped an album recently. She dropped another single. It was so good. It was so good. Go listen to Kara's music. I'll put her link in the description of this. I'll put all these musicians' links in the description of this video. I want you to listen to Parasite. I love Parasite. Parasite's so cool. Not enough recognition. She needs to blow up. She needs to blow up. Not like explode, but like, you know, she needs her music to take off. Dom PSD. My boy Dominic. Oh Lord. He has an album out called The Aviator. It was like a duo album with my friend Sam. Just really well made album. Really well made music. My favorite song of his is Supersedes Me. You got everything I want, you got everything I need right between. Okay, it's listen to Dom and Sam. Dom has that potential. The thing is, he doesn't run any promo for his music. So he has all this really cool music just out, but no one's listening to it because no one knows it exists. Now you know it exists. Go listen to The Aviator. It's sick. It's like professional studio level quality music. Just no one listens to it. It has like 20 views on YouTube, and I think 15 of them are me. So yeah. Sam, oh my god. Sam is like the best producer I've ever worked with. That boy can... We were working on a track recently. This comes to memory. We're working on a track recently. I have two stories where he does this. Let's start with Pocket Change. I have a song out called Pocket Change, and there was a part where Luke Klein, another person I'm about to talk about, gets on the song, and he, you know, it's like the beat is like chill, but it's like, you know, it needs some spice. Sam gets a Stratocaster, which is a guitar, and he's like, hold on, let me think of something. And he just drops a solo, and it's like... It's that. If you hear my song, you know what I'm talking about. But he just did that within the span of like 30 seconds. What? He pulled that out of his hat. He equipped it from his inventory. But Sam, and he there was another track I'm working on, unreleased, and he pulls out like this random horn sound effect, and it's just the most obnoxious sounding thing. And I'm like, Sam, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Like I try and put my opinion out in the studio, not to like be mean, but like I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't sound good. I blank out for like 30 seconds. He's like, Lawrence, listen to this. He made the horn sound good. What? How did you do that? Talented, incredible musician. If you are in the St. Augustine, Jacksonville, Orange Park area, the 904, if you need a producer, go to Sam. Sam will make your dreams come true. He understands visions. You can say something and he will make it happen. And I think that's an important talent for a producer. And alongside that, he's also just has a beautiful voice. Any song of mine that he is on just sounds so good. And it's only him that sounds good. Other than Pocket Change, I think D Swole, Luke Klein, and Sam pulled their weight. But like a little extra too. They pulled a little too hard, if you know what I'm saying. Luke Klein, this guy, got him in the studio for like 30 minutes on Pocket Change, and he's the part right after mine. And he's also the part when him and D Swole are like going in and out of rapping. But he wrote his part in like 5 minutes. Just, you know, okay. You know how hard it is to write a song and like it? He did that in 5 minutes. So take that how you will. Listen to Smile, or Teeth Out, not Smile. Teeth Out by Luke Klein and Dom. Dom's on that one too. Listen to it. Really good song. D Swole. That guy's next up. That guy makes music for the masses. Listen to some D Swole. My friend Sam, who I was just talking about, sent me a video of D Swole singing on a country song. And I've, in the past, I've only viewed D Swole as a rapper because I've only heard him rap. And he's singing a cover of a country song, and it's like, he has the voice of an angel. And it came out of nowhere. That was crazy. My favorite D Swole song hasn't even been released yet, so I can't even talk about it. But he has a song with Sam, and it's nuts. So stay tuned for that. Go listen to D Swole's music. Go listen to all of their music. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else right now. Losing a pet and the pain of it is unimaginable. I had a bird. Her name was Dog, And when I lived in Virginia and went to high school there, I never missed a day of school. Never missed a day of school. My bird died, and I missed school that day. That was my best friend. And the people who are like, oh, it's just a bird. I understand where that comes from, but losing that thing that you were taking care of and spending so much of your time with, and having her not be there anymore was just so painful. And it sucked. It's like I watched my best friend die in front of me. I woke up and she was dead at the bottom of her cage. That messed me up. That low-key messed me up, because that bird meant more to me than the world. It meant more to me than a lot of people. I love dog. Rest in peace, dog. But, like, losing a pet sucks. I don't even know how to end this, but rest in peace, dog. It happened 5 years ago now. I hope she's doing good wherever she is. Bleach needs more fans. Bleach needs more fans. It's in the big three. Bleach is in the big three. And weirdly enough, I think it's the least popular of the big three. I think Bleach is better than Naruto. Not a hot take. Anyone who's seen Bleach would say that. Bleach has some of the coolest moments ever. And it happens like once every 3 episodes. Hype moments and aura to the walls, to the wazoo. I've been watching 1,000 Year Blood War. Animation's kicking butt. That was a good contender for Anime of the Year. Or no, Best Ongoing Series. I think that's what it is. 1,000 Year Blood War had the potential to do that. So, yeah, Bleach needs more fans. Go watch Bleach. If you're a big fan of anime and you've never seen Bleach and you've just been sleeping on Bleach, I think now's the time, personally. This is going to be a long episode. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. Love y'all. Subscribe, follow, listen to my album, listen to all those artists I talk about. Yeah, that's it for today. Y'all have a good one. Hi, everyone. This is Gator or Airhead, and this is episode 5 of Gagatalk. That's halfway to 10, which is impressive to me because I'm not really a person to be consistent with things. I tend to jump around a lot of hobbies. I tend to jump around a lot of activities and never really stick with one. And I'm very consistent. I've been doing this for almost a month now. Coming up on it, yeah. So, hey, episode 5 of Gagatalk. Let's get it. We're going to tackle some advice in this episode. I would like to consider myself a very insightful person whenever it comes to giving advice. And some of the questions I've got can be answered with one answer, a majority of them. I'll just read them out. You are the most extroverted person I know. I've literally explained you to various family members or to various family friends as someone who is able to talk to anyone and have it not be awkward. My question is, how are you able to push yourself out of your comfort zone so effortlessly and consistently to try out new things? Another question is stagnance. The question is how to avoid stagnance. Another question is the importance of special interests and why. And another question is how to be yourself without people caring. And I think those can all be answered with one answer. Don't be afraid to go out there and do it. And I think the big fear of going out and trying new things is the idea of putting effort and energy into something and the only return being diminishing, the only return being embarrassing. You're human. It's not a golden path with clouds all around you to success. It's a rocky road. And you're going to trip and fall and scrape your knees on that rocky road, right? And it's going to suck. But you're going to gain experience. It's going to be a fun journey. You got to make it fun. You got to make everything fun. You got to make doing hardships, or you got to make going through hardships fun. And that sounds strange to say, right? I don't like to bring up track. I think I brag a lot. I bragged a lot whenever I was in track. I leave that past behind. I was terrible at track when I first started it. I tried out a new thing, I pushed myself out of the comfort zone to go and do a sport. I love being inside. I hate working out, right? I was working out every day, and I got a little lazy towards the end of track, or towards the majority of track. But, I worked out a lot more than I usually did.
got myself out of the comfort zone, and it was a rocky road. My first year of track was set in stone with a bunch of losses. I was losing all the time, and I eventually got tired of losing, so I worked harder, and I started winning. I got actually so bored of winning that I told my coach to stop putting me in easy meets. I was like, hey, I'll only go to invitationals. I don't want to be at the local meets anymore. They're not challenging. It's a waste of my time. I don't get any drive from it. I pushed myself out of the comfort zone because, I had to. And the main reason why I did it, and this is not really advice, it's because I was bored. And not only bored, I was not content with the way I was living my life. And it took me having to not be content with my life to actually decide to push myself out of my comfort zones. And for stagnance, the key to stagnance or avoiding stagnance is go outside. Go do new stuff. The key to special interests and why they're important, they make you. Push yourself out of your comfort zone and find a special interest. How to be yourself without people caring. Understand that you're not always gonna look cool. You gotta go out, look like a fool, just find you. And understand that most of the time, the only people who do care are like scared of their own flaws. Okay, I'm gonna cut this off right here for a second. It's so stormy outside. It looks like a hurricane out there. That's kind of threatening. That is a scary storm. So my power might go out during this recording of Gagatalk. But the St. Augustine has been plagued by storms. I think the entire East Coast has been plagued by storms the past week. And it's been rough. It's been super rough, but power's going out. I recently had a CS tournament and one of my teammates' powers went out. And we had to get disqualified. But, it's whatever. It's whatever. It's the weather's fault. So I've had to go... So to go back on the topic of, advice, how to love. How to love is a dangerous topic. But a simple answer can be given to that topic. And it's as simple as finding the flaws in your partner and understanding their flaws and accepting their flaws. Once you figure out how to do that, it's as simple as just spending time with them and appreciating their presence. Understand that you're not gonna find the perfect boyfriend. One of my favorite anime ever is Monogatari series, or is the Monogatari series, and one of my favorite quotes from it, or my favorite message from it, is at the end of the first series. It's so hard to explain Monogatari. For those who understand Monogatari, you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the first anime, there is a scene where she's like, "What do you love about me?" And the main character's like, "I love everything about you. There's nothing about you I don't love." The reason why that stuck with me is because, he understands her flaws and he accepts them and appreciates them as they are synonymous with her because he loves her. He is able to love Senjigahara, who is the character, because he accepts her flaws. And I think that's the key to love. That's the key to love. The key to fake friends, or fake friends and why they suck, I guess, is the question. Or how to solve fake friends is just weed them out. Set boundaries. Respect those boundaries. Respect your friends' boundaries. And, if they break them consistently, maybe they're not a good friend. Maybe they don't need to be in your life. You don't need to be confrontational. You could just stop talking to them. And if they nag on about why aren't you talking to me, explain to them, hey, I think you've been disrespecting my boundaries. I think, maybe we should back off each other. Maybe we're not meant to be in each other's lives. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. You're gonna miss them. They're gonna miss you. But you're not gonna miss your boundaries being broken. Just respect yourself. The key to fake friends is respect yourself. That's also the key to love. That's also the key. The key to everything is respecting yourself. Find out how to do that, and you will succeed. It's so stormy. I don't know if you guys can hear the thunder in this recording. That's gonna be a pretty cool audio. You know, we got background noise. I went to a rave recently, an anime rave in Jacksonville. It's called the We Touch Grass rave. Really cool rave. That was my first like rave ever. I went to a rave. This convention that happens in Orlando every winter. It's called Holiday Matsuri. They have raves in one of the hotels, and that was so cool. That I don't think that counts as like a rave though. You know, this was my first rave in like a club setting. So I was seeing some crazy stuff I don't want to talk about. But I'll just talk about one key memory. When we were leaving the rave, we left the rave at like 2:30 a.m. I just got, oh my god, that's obnoxious that I got a text message. We were leaving the rave at like 2:30 a.m. in the morning, and we're walking out. Right as we get to where I parked, this red Supra comes drifting out of the parking lot, and then it drifts around a corner, but it like messes up the drift, and it runs the curb and hits a parking meter. The parking meter gets lodged into the hood of the Supra, and Supras are expensive, right? I was looking at Supras when I was shopping for my car. Oh my gosh, good golly. I almost considered it. Because they look so cool. But that's a large sum of money being put into a car. This guy drifts his brand new Supra into a parking meter, and it just crashes it. And you know, it's Jacksonville. It's downtown Jax. So it's like GTA there, regardless. But that was nuts seeing that in person. Especially at that hour. And he's like, you know, whatever. My car got destroyed. He speeds off. That was crazy. But the reason why I'm bringing this up, and it's going to sound weird because, you know, what the hell does this have to correlate with what you're about to say? That's an awesome memory. The importance of getting out is unfathomable. It's unfathomable. Getting outside of your room, and it all comes back to the first question. How do you push yourself out of your comfort zone? I get out. I go do stuff. The importance of getting out is so... It's necessary. Right? You gotta get out. You gotta go to concerts. You gotta go to the club. You gotta go party. You gotta go socialize. You know? Hey, let's go to the beach. Yes! Let's go to the beach. Go body surf. Go boogie board. Go swim. Go do all these really cool things. You know, there's more to life than just sitting in your room and playing on your computer all day. And I'm a victim to that. I love sitting in my room and playing on my computer, right? I could do it forever. But I also understand the importance of getting out, right? If there's like a local farmer's market, go walk around, you know? Go do something that's not... And it may be unproductive in your eyes. Here, let me talk about this too. I love getting off topic. I'm sorry. I bounce around topics like crazy. Productivity is such a trick. You know? In my eyes, everything is productive. If it makes you happy, you're being productive. If sitting in your room all day makes you happy, you're being productive. But it's also really unhealthy, and I'm here to tell you to not do that. Go outside and explore and do fun stuff. Go to concerts. Go to like parties. Like just going on a walk. That's productive. Productivity is figuring out and productivity is just being happy and doing stuff that makes you happy while also keeping you healthy. And I think getting out is important in that sense. That's all I really want to talk about. This is going to be a really short episode. And I think it's just going to be a lot of yapping. But, you know, I try my best to formulate my thoughts tangibly and, you know, get it out to you guys. I feel like I only scratched the surface of what I said. I could dig deeper, but if I did dig deeper, I would just start repeating myself over and over again, and I feel like I already did enough of that this episode. So, love you guys. Oh wait, I do have a game in the background called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Go check it out. Slept on Borderlands game. I'm gonna talk about Borderlands in the next episode because that's my favorite game series of all time. But, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Follow, like, subscribe, go listen to my album, go just look in the description, go to those links. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.